All right, welcome to our next episode. So, I've been trying to find a way to wear this shirt, but it seems like every time I wear it, I feel more like a nurse. I added some pearls, but I don't know. This shirt is just, it's a nurse shirt. So, Nurse Katie, we're coming to you live with an episode on haters. So I want to address the haters. I feel like there's just been a lot of haters, lately on Facebook. I don't know why they just pop up on my feed all day. People opposing what's happening with Donald Trump, and it just there seems to be a lot of hatred, even from the president himself too. And so I really wanted to talk about what's going on. How do we handle people being, hateful and like hate speech, I guess, if you want to call it that, but really it's handling hate. How can you get your expression, your opinion out there without hating other people, without feeling the need to take a stance and say, this is what I believe. And if you don't believe it, you suck. If you don't believe it, I hope you die. If you don't believe it, you're an idiot. Because we live in a world with thousands of opinions, different lives, different perspectives, different personalities, different truths, which are just their opinions mostly. And if we don't coexist together on trying to understand other people's perspective, and then if you don't feel like understanding it, the least thing you can do is just respect it. Just say, okay, that's on you. But I'm finding it hard to read some of these very lengthy posts. So there was a guy that I'm friends with on Facebook, and he put the longest post about his hate for the president. And then he generalized and said that anybody that thinks like this should basically die. And then he even said, unfriend me if you voted for him, and that's it. And I thought, what happened to people being able to share their opinion and not feel this? And here's the thing. I do think that the president has created this culture to speak poorly about other people. And so now as it goes, right, it's like my friend was just telling me how she's actually scared to get on a plane this Thursday and she doesn't know why. I go, yeah, because the media has been feeding you lots of plane crashes and malfunctions. So that's why you're going to be scared, even though that's not really what's happening. It's just the media pushing fear. And so since they see that's trending, they're like, oh, cool. Let's go get all of airplane failures around the world, wherever they are, for the stupidest reason, and some bigger and some really unfortunate, but let's just populate the media with plain stuff. And so it's creating fear for people to not want to travel and not want to get on a plane. So the same thing goes with this situation. If the president is on the media all day and he's setting a tone, talking trash about other people are going to feel that is trending. And this is all like unconscious, by the way. I mean, well, in my opinion, I would choose to believe that this is something running in the background and you're not really aware that this is what's happening. And you're just you're just doing your programming, but your programming is based on media. And actually, a little fun fact, my background is in advertising and media. And one of the things that really disillusioned me from the industry was realizing how subliminal advertising messaging is. And it literally shapes societies. It runs I always get confused between unconscious and subconscious. What is it, like the subconscious, unconscious mind? It'll program that, and it'll, with their subliminal messaging, and it'll make you live that life that they want you to live. But it has nothing to do with your best interests. It's all about what's going to make them money, because they're the advertisers that are paying for these services. So, it's kind of like, I don't know. Okay, perfect example. Pharmaceutical companies, all day in your face, top of mind, on TV, radio, billboards, buses, any form of advertising, any type of media format. They're having you know that you might have this problem and this problem and this problem, and there's medicine for it, right? Okay, what's happening with Ozempic right now? that everybody wants to get on an Ozempic or the other Ozempic type because that's what's trending right now. I don't know that people have taken the time to really dig deep on what are the long-term side effects of taking Ozempic for weight loss or abusing it. And it's okay if you did it, and some people have change their lives and look amazing. But it's because of the push. It's because it's what the media is pushing. It's because it's what's being fed to you that's making you do this. You would have never thought about Ozempic as a medicine for diabetic patients 10 years ago. You would have never thought, hey, yeah, I'm going to do Ozempic, but diabetic people take. No, it's because somebody said, this is going to work also as a weight loss system. Let's push that. And then lo and behold, it worked. Who doesn't want to lose weight quick? So it's what's happening. And okay, I totally derailed, but let me get back to my point. So, okay, we're talking about hateful speech. So now that this guy on Facebook, he went on and on and on and just basically said, unfriend me. And I think what bothered me the most about that message is how he has now turned his opinion into a fact. And based on his fact, has chosen to say, if you don't agree with this, you are an imbecile and I don't want nothing to do with you. You are the scum of the earth. You are shameful. And in my mind, I was just thinking, why is this guy doing this on a public format? His 5,000 friends can see this. What is he trying to do? I mean, the guy's, in my opinion, I think going through a lot of pain and suffering about it. And this is his way of coping with it and putting it out there. But, as an executive coach that has been studying this, it's actually toxic for you. So I want to give you a couple little things that you should consider before sharing your opinion about something so that we can help create a society. Because now that social media is at everybody's reach and anybody can now be their own media. Like me right now with this podcast, I am my own media company. You can be your own media company. Everyone now can have a voice, which is the most beautiful thing. Now it's not just up to the major corporation news stations or newspapers or anything like that. Now the voices can be heard with more diversity, but you can make a difference in using the right words to create a softer but powerful society that is based on your words. Because the only two actions that you take in life is verbal or physical. That's it. And most of it is all verbal. Like 80% of the actions that you take that could totally mess up your life are verbal. So if you can help with that, you will leave a positive impact on society, for our children, for the youth, for the future that can hopefully put an end to this. If you find this cool, or you're feeding into it, or you're not aware that you're being manipulated, or you're getting subliminal messaging, you need to be aware. Wake up right now and say, oh, I'm being programmed. Hello, wake up and start using your words carefully. So if you want to share your opinion online, please, 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 please make sure to say it's your opinion. It sounds so obvious, but I've seen so many posts where people are sharing what they think, but are not saying it's their opinion. They are stating it as a fact, 100% fact. And the only thing that's a fact is something that you can measure or prove. If you can't measure it and you can't prove it, that's just your opinion, buddy. So you have to remember that. And mostly everything is an opinion. If someone in Spain can have a different opinion about what you just said, it's an opinion. If someone in Spain has the same, this is a very easy example. If I say, Joanna is tall, is that a fact or is that an opinion? It's an opinion. Why? Because in the United States, she could be tall, but in Russia, she could be short. 5'10" is short, but 5'10" in the US, really tall. So if someone in another country, another neighborhood, another city, another state, anywhere, can have another opinion about it, it's just an opinion. Also, when I say Joanna is 5'10", is that a fact or an opinion? It's a fact because I could measure Joanna with a measuring ruler and Joanna is going to be 5'10". And someone in Spain gets the measuring tape and measures Joanna, Joanna's going to be 5'10" also, or whatever metric system equivalent she'll be. And that's a fact. So please, when you're sharing your opinion, you will do the world a great deed, act of kindness if you stated your opinion as an opinion and not as a fact. The other thing I would suggest is do not generalize. When you generalize and you turn one bad seed into the masses, and you make, let's just say in this case, this post was based on something that Donald Trump said that was stated as a fact. I don't go into politics, so I don't know. I'm not trying to fact check anybody's work, but if it was a fact, or in this case, let's just say it was an opinion. He's taken what Donald Trump has said and said that anybody that now, because of what he said, has voted for him is also just as neurotic and just as insane. And then that entire population is now categorized as that. And what that does is that you now have not had enough conscious awareness that other people have different reasons for different things. Different perspectives, different backgrounds, different passions, different values, and it doesn't make yours better. And if you don't understand that and you put a message out like that, you're saying that only your values are the most important and everyone else's are not valid. And you can be as passionate as you want about your values. That's the beautiful thing about life. I can have my own values. You can have your own values. Your mom can have her own values. Your brother can have family, blood. Nobody gets an out on this. The beauty of life is that you're born here and you can create the values and the beliefs and the ideas and the interpretations of situations that you want. So you have to have a little bit more empathy for other people's livelihoods and where they're coming from. And it's kind of like what an incredible therapist, Kelly, says: give people the benefit of the doubt. Provide positive intent. Always give people the possibility that they're not evil and that they're trying to do well. If you come in like that, it'll create less friction because you'll see that they're not trying to be hateful. They're not trying to kill you. They're not trying to harm you. They're just sharing, they're trying to do well or trying to do good just as you are. And so actually, there's a really beautiful story when my daughter got hurt in California. We had to rush her to a plastic surgeon for surgery. And this surgeon was so incredible. He showed up on a holiday to his office. Nobody was there. The secretary, the office was closed. He showed up. And my daughters at the time would just crack a smile and she'd be gushing blood and due to her injury. And the doctor just took the time to just start off by saying, I just want you to know that most people mean well in this world. And if you believe that most people mean well, you will live a less stressful life, a more joyful life. And I couldn't believe that he was telling that to a 10-year-old that's about to go into a full panic mode. Then I realized how brilliant this man is. He was telling her this to let her know that he is trying to do the best he can to take care of her in a very delicate situation that might look like he's trying to hurt her because he's going to have to now stitch her. And, it was the first time she's ever been in an experience like that. It would have been a very traumatic experience. And because this angelic man, he was an angel. And he gave my daughter wisdom that's going to hopefully stick with her for the rest of her life. So it's not just me saying this, guys. If you really want to have less stress in your life, first I will tell you, stop watching the news. The news will make you mad. It's literally just fear-based stuff. Do you think there's other stories more important in this world than a robbery or a shootout down the street or another, extravagant hate speech coming from a politician? It's all that they want you to, everything is drama-based. If you say, oh my gosh, can you believe it? Or you share it with someone, it stays in you. It creates your reality. So if you don't like what you're seeing on TV, stop watching it and focus on happy stuff. Go through your Instagram and start liking funny stuff. My Instagram is full of ridiculousness, and I love it. I feel like they now have tuned into my psyche and my personality because they give me daily wisdom or they give me the stupidest memes that I feel like I only think of that in my head and I'm actually like embarrassed to say it. And then all of a sudden there's a Instagram page that shares the stupidity and has like 1 million likes. And I'm like, great, 1 million other people think of this ridiculousness and think it's funny like me. And that makes me happy. And I share it with a bunch of other people that I also think, oh, they're going to judge me. They're going to think I'm ridiculous. And then some people are like, oh yeah, I like your type of funny. And I'm like, yes. So in a nutshell, what you focus your energy on and what you surround yourself with gets in your head and you end up doing. So going back to how to handle sharing messages without being so hateful is 1, don't generalize and make it about the masses. If you want to make it about your feelings about one person or one incident, please do. You don't have to generalize, make it about the country, make it about the people, make it about, anything larger than what it is. And then 2 is state that it's your opinion. And I think those 2 things will be greatly appreciated. And then on the other hand, if you're receiving it, if you're on the receiving end of it, just remember that a person that is coming with that much hate has a lot of pain. And that pain has a lot of fear in it. So this person is scared for their future, regardless of the topic. It can be politics, it could be their livelihood, it could be money, it can be, whatever it is that they're passionate about, okay? And just remember that this is just their opinion, whether they say it is or not. You could read between the lines and know that it's most of the time their opinion. If it's a fact, it's not going to be as emotional because a fact is measured, it's proven, okay, that's what it is. It doesn't carry that much emotional weight, which is a good thing. But when it's heavy charged with a lot of emotions and a lot of hate, most of the time that's an opinion. And so just remember, give compassion to that person that's probably in a lot of pain. And remember, it takes 2 people to fight. If you don't engage, they have nobody to fight with. So eventually they're just going to stop their rant, or they're going to use social media as like their diary, like where they share all of their thoughts and then somebody can, go in there and fight with them back and justify, their purpose for writing their hateful speech, or whatever it is. But I hope it doesn't affect you. And if it ever did affect you, I'd like to know. And maybe we can see how we can make it less burdensome for you. And if you are the person that doesn't know how to express themselves without insulting or offending or hurting others, also let me know, because I don't take it personal and I don't consider it a part of who you are. I consider it a part of just learning new ways. And if you're coming to me asking me for an opinion, clearly you want to learn how to communicate. And communication is something that unfortunately is not taught enough. And if I can help in any way on how to deliver certain messages, come, be my guest. So I'll leave it at that. Please stop hating. Don't be a hater. And if you're listening to it, remember they're just going through something and just let them let it out. But and one last thing. The other reason why you should be very careful with the words that you use is your words become energy that's carried by heavy emotions, right? If you say the word hate, even the pronunciation of the word hate sounds strong, right? Hate. Or when you say love sounds softer emotionally, right? Love, love, love. Even if I say it louder or softer, the emotion behind the word love is softer. So I know you, even if you believe in this or you don't believe in, you could take it as my opinion, but you can also look it up. And you can read a lot of books about it. And I'll be happy to suggest different books where you can research and learn about this. But basically, these emotions that you're bringing with your words, they are not just for the outside world. They go into you. They're coming from you. And the more you project that and the more you share it with other people, the bigger it gets. And the bigger it gets, it will affect you. And you will be uneasy in your body. Those words, hateful words, turn into toxicity in your body. And if you have a lot of that, along with other things that can create toxicity in your body, it is what creates disease. And disease, if you were to break up the word, means dis-ease. Disease is when your body is not at ease. So think
3 times before writing a message that can negatively affect you. Forget about the other people, but think about what it'll do to your body to put it out there. It's okay if you want to write it down for yourself. It's okay if you want to share it with someone else, if you want to just vent it out and let it out. But to make it bigger than what it is, it could be, unsafe for you. And so that's it. Okay. Thank you. See you at the next episode. Bye.